Okay, so I really gotta have this out ASAP as, I stayed up late editing a Halloween skit that is unfortunately cringy at the very end. I apologize. But other than that, I started watching the Batman because I had to watch it on Halloween because today's Thursday, October 31st, if you know the reference from the opening scene. And, of course, I fall asleep around, like, the middle of the movie, and technically I'm almost done watching it, but I gotta edit this out, and then after that, I gotta catch the bus so I can meet up with my mom at her school so she could take me to my friend's place for the Halloween thing later today. And I must have this video out on October, not in November, okay? So, let's get on with talking about Venom: The Last Dance. Here's the full spoiler review, as I've only talked a little bit in my double feature movie vlog, where I went to go see Joker 2 and Venom 3 on the same day. And I've taken notes for this, so yeah, let's get on with it, shall we? Now, one, we're going to do another movie review on the channel, so oh god, yeah, like I said, I've taken notes, but oh man, it's been like how many? It's almost been a week. Actually, no, it's been a week since I have seen this movie in theaters, and I still can't believe it's over because back in 2018, I mean, I've been a fan of Venom ever since I saw him in Spider-Man 3, who, yeah, he was definitely terrifying in that movie as a kid, but hey, I liked him. And then I don't know when I heard about this, but whenever I had heard we were getting a Venom movie, I'm like, oh, let's go, because yeah, I did like Venom as a character. And then I finally had seen Venom in theaters around October 6th of 2018. I tried seeing it as early as possible, but couldn't. But yeah, I watched it with friends, and as I've already brought this up, this was a photo of me and Dee wearing the shirt together as we wore it to the theater. I also brought this guy with me when we went to go see Venom. And with how that movie had ended with its post-credit scene, I was definitely excited for Venom 2, and well, that was a long wait, but the wait was worth it as it was finally released about 3 years later after the first movie, where we finally had seen Carnage and Let There Be Carnage. And yeah, this movie should have been rated R, but it's a fun movie. And technically, the first movie was trying to be serious and ended up being funny unintentionally. And I guess for the next two movies, they decided that, you know what, since everyone thought the first one was silly, we're just going to go full throttle on the silliness and everything. And technically, they take that up a notch for the third one. But overall, the tone basically changes for the next two Venom movies. And after with how Venom 2 had ended, I had lots of theories going around. I wanted to make a video talking about it, of like, oh, the Venomverse, or Spider-Man and Venom going to be fighting the third one and everything. And yeah, it took like another 3 years for it to be released, and now it's finally out. And who would have knew that this would be the final chapter in the Venom trilogy, which is still crazy to think about, that Venom got his own freaking trilogy. And I know how everyone feels about these Venom movies. Yes, they're not great. They could have been better, especially when it comes to being rated R and doing justice to the character, I guess. And while I can understand everyone's negatives for the Venom movies, me personally, and I'm not the only one that enjoys these movies, I've had fun with them. I overall enjoyed them. And when I heard from Scoopers that the third one was the best in the trilogy, I'm like, oh, okay, alright, bet. And then the reviews came out like, oh boy, everyone are really trashing on this movie. So, part of me was slightly worried, but then again, I shouldn't be worried because I'm a massive fan of the first two Venom movies, so I should be able to like Venom 3, right? Well, as I've already made it clear in my movie vlogs, yes, I have enjoyed Venom 3, but I've also mentioned about some nitpicks, because oh boy, I am conflicted on just with this movie a little bit. Because one, I do enjoy it, while the other hand, yeah, I can see why it's a messy movie. I would want to give it a 10 out of 10, but I think I would give that rating for either the first one or mainly the second movie. Because for the third one, yeah, it's a bit of a messy movie, but I still like it. It could have been worse. It's just, I just got a few nitpicks, which I'm actually probably going to start off with the nitpicks first. And in case I haven't already mentioned, I am going to dump spoilers for this movie, so if you have not seen Venom: The Last Dance, I recommend go seeing it in theaters and coming back to this review later. So yeah, from the reviews I've been hearing about this movie, I had heard that it's a very messy movie, and yeah, they were not kidding about it. It is a very messy movie, as a lot is basically going on from start to finish, as we're just kind of trying to get to this jump point, just like, okay, we gotta wrap this up quickly. Which I could say they were kind of rushing it, which, I'll be back and forth on, because, like, I mean, it wasn't, like, rush, but still, a lot was going on in this movie. But since there was a lot happening in this movie, and they were trying to get to this one place to the other, I really wish this movie was a little longer, as it is an hour and 50 minutes, the second longest movie in the trilogy, with number 2 being the shortest. And earlier this June, I had heard it was gonna be 2 hours and 27 minutes. That I would have enjoyed. Maybe that would have been too much since, like, it's an hour and 15 minutes. Some folks are going to be like, okay, I'm cool with that runtime because they don't want the movie to overstay its welcome. But the reason I want it to be long is just so that some scenes have time to shine. Like, for example, the symbiotes, which we had heard there were going to be symbiotes coming into this movie, whether Toxin was going to have an army to go after Spider-Man or Venom. There were 2 different plot rumors we had heard earlier this year. Well, one having to do with Eddie and Venom going after Spider-Man, but that they can't kill him because he's a 10-year-old child, so they have to mentor him, which I thought that was random, and I can understand why no one was a big fan of that. I was willing to welcome it to see how it would have played out, but having to see this movie, probably a good thing that didn't happen. Especially since this is the last movie in the trilogy. But yeah, we do get to see a lot of symbiotes in the third act of the movie, which, unfortunately, as much as I would like to say it was cool to see different symbiotes in this movie, they were done dirty, man. I mean, they were all killed off one by the xenophage. And I'm like, oh, damn it, man. Actually, what I'm more pissed off about was they did Detective Mulligan dirty in this movie. He was completely wasted at the very end. I mean, he's in the movie, but he's basically here just for exposition dump. Also, in case y'all are confused if this guy's supposed to be Toxin or Lasher, yeah, this is just a random-ass symbiote, because apparently his symbiote had ditched him for whatever reason, and so Toxin's not in the movie, but he's out there, just, I don't know what the hell he's doing. I don't know why he even ditched him in the first place, but still though, I was glad to see him return in this movie, but not happy about how he was immediately killed off after just breaking out of his cell just to stop the xenophage from going after Venom, which, as soon as they killed him off, I'm like, ah, damn it, Sony! Now, I can understand if no one was a fan of, like, the random subplot of this family going to Area 51 before it's decommissioned. I'm 50-50. Part of me thought they're like, okay, they did not need to be in the movie, while the other part of me was like, you know what, I'll let it slide, because I do care about them a little bit. At the very end, I mean, technically, what they were doing was a little bit stupid, as they were just breaking into Area 51, because, one, I've been to Area 51, I even made a vlog video about it, but, for them to break into Area 51, they should have been shot at, because that's what my dad told me, that if you try to sneak into Area 51, you're gonna get shot by a sniper. But I guess that wouldn't matter, because Area 51 is being decommissioned, so no need for a sniper to make sure no one's breaking in, because, you know, I guess the government was just sick and tired of the tourist attractions. So yeah, I'm 50-50 on the family being in this movie, but I think my biggest negative for this movie is probably gonna have to be the changes they did, because Sony has done it again for probably the third freaking time with their Sony movies. First was Morbius, second was Madam Web, and now Venom 3. But what changes have they done? Oh, for starters, the opening scene. They entirely reshot that, and, well, let's just say they technically do a retcon, but not with the symbiote. Because that's still in the MCU, thank God. So Tom will be able to get his black suit in the MCU. What they did retcon here was the part where Eddie and Venom go to New York City to clear their name and blackmail this lawyer that got Eddie kicked out of New York. But that's not the real reason they wanted to go to New York City, because originally they wanted to go meet up with Spider-Man.
Maybe I should go to New York and speak to this, Spider-Man.
That was in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home, but they decided to retcon that in the opening scene of Venom 3. Why would they do that? Who freaking knows? I mean, whenever they mention about blackmailing this lawyer, which is the reason why they have to go to New York City, I'm like, okay, that is random. But when I watched 3C Films' spoiler review for Venom 3, whatever he had to say about that movie, yeah, it made sense for like, oh my god, no, that had to have been the real reason they wanted to go to New York City. But the Sony had thought, nah, let's change this up a bit. No Spider-Man references or anything, just Sony, when I get my hands on you! Because honestly, I found that entirely random for them wanting to go to New York City to blackmail this lawyer or whoever, who we don't, like, it's only brought up once in the opening. But just know, what was mostly going to be the case was they were going to go find Spider-Man and meet up with him, or probably kill him, because in the earlier rumor plot leaks, Venom had shared this hive mind with Eddie, and they mentioned that they're destined to die by Spider-Man, so they have to kill him, but they can't because he's a 10-year-old boy. That was what was the rumored plot for this movie. That did not happen, and I was totally not getting the vibes of that after seeing the first teaser trailer. But yeah, I think that'll probably be my biggest negative for this movie. And that is whatever changes they've made to Venom 3. Because when I think about it, I don't think Noel was supposed to be in this movie. He was just added in last minute. Oh, and speaking about Noel, so yeah, I know how everyone was worried that he was going to be done dirty and that he's going to do absolutely nothing in this movie. Yes, that is true, but I wouldn't say he's done dirty, because technically, this is supposed to be his introduction, a setup for him to appear in other projects, whether it's in the Sony Spider-Man universe or in Spider-Man 4, where it's rumored he's going to be the main villain for that movie. But I definitely liked how this movie had opened up with him, where, yeah, he was being exposition dump, but no, actually though, I really liked how this movie had opened up with Noel just creating a presence for this movie, as, yeah, he has a little bit of a presence in here. But one of my positives I have for this movie is definitely the opening scene, so I'll say that right off the bat. Now, even though the symbiotes were done a bit dirty, Lasher was a bit of a standout, as she got to have some awesome action sequences in the third act, which, speaking of which, yeah, if you're, like, having a hard time with the second act, as, yeah, the second act may be a little bit boring, the third act is gonna fix it for you, as it is enjoyable to watch on screen. Now, speaking about the third act, I'm a little bit 50-50 with that, too, as Eddie and Venom go to Las Vegas, and they do run into Mrs. Chen, who I am glad we got to see one last time in this trilogy, since, you know, she's been in the first two Venom movies, so I wouldn't see why not bring her in the last one. And was it stupid that Venom had risked everything just to dance with her? Yeah, but I'm gonna let that slide because, like I've already said in the movie vlog, that scene was peak. I mean, this movie is called The Last Dance. Might as well live up to the name to it. But from earlier reviews, I had heard that this movie does have emotional moments, and yeah, it does have emotional moments, and as I've already mentioned in my movie vlog, at the very end of the movie, I actually end up shedding a tear. At least one tear, but no, I was tearing up, okay? That ending where Venom was sacrificing himself to save Eddie, oh my god, I could not believe that actually got me. Sure, I probably wasn't crying that badly, but at least one tear is enough, because I was actually crying. Still though, after Venom sacrifices himself, which I guess acid is what will also kill the symbiotes than just fire and sound, the way the movie had ended, oh god. I blame Sony for this, because now I will never be able to listen to Memories again. Because that was a song that I didn't enjoy much. Not that I didn't like it. It was catchy, but not to say like, not one of my favorites, but I'll listen to it if it's on the radio. Now I'm adding that song to my playlist on Spotify. So whenever I listen to that song, all I'm going to be thinking about is the ending of Venom 3, which they replay some certain moments from the first two movies. And, oh god, I wanted to cry so bad at the very end. I did shed a tear at the end, but just, oh, I could not believe how this movie had ended. Because Venom actually died. I figured there was a possibility these two were going to make it out or not, but Venom dies. I could not believe that. And for the past week, I've been seeing so many videos on my For You page, and I've already brought this up in my movie vlog for Joker 2 and Venom 3, but just, no, seriously though, I'm gonna start crying if I continue to see more of them on my For You page, because I don't know how much I can take it, because I've been a big fan of these movies since 2018. Sure, they're not great, but they're guilty pleasures for me. Like, I don't think you could ever get me to hate these movies. So yeah, the way Venom 3 had ended, probably a solid conclusion to this trilogy. Yes, there were a lot of wasted potential, but this movie was fun. It's not perfect, but I can see why it's considered to be the best in the trilogy. While I can understand why folks would say it's the worst of the trilogy, but let's just say that it could be a bit of both. But me, I could see why it's the best in the trilogy. I've seen the movie 3 times to let my thoughts sink in. So I guess my final rating for this movie, which I've been back and forth on whether to give it an 8 or an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. For right now, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Unless I decide to hit the screw up button and just give it a 9 out of 10. Also, one last thing I am forgetting to mention about the Xenophases in this movie, which was a nice change of pace, because I figured that Venom would be fighting another symbiote, that being Toxin, except one, he was not in the movie, unfortunately. The only thing I knew about these Xenophases was that they're symbiote hunters, and I feared that they had a good chance of, like, killing at least a few. But as soon as it started regenerating, I knew that Eddie and Venom were freaking screwed. And yeah, well, the third act was awesome. The way the symbiotes were, like, losing to these guys, which, how the hell were they able to fight them off while imprisoning Null in his home planet? Which, by the way, that was something interesting in the opening scene where his own symbiote army turned against on Null. Now, I don't know everything about Null in the comics. I just feared that, oh, his symbiotes are his minions, but they turned against him? Does that actually happen in the comics, or am I, thinking this entirely differently? I don't know. I definitely should have done some research on Null, the god of symbiotes. But these xenovases were a major threat to both Eddie and Venom. But with how they kill some people in this movie, yeah, they get away with that PG-13 rating as it's a little graphic. But they were definitely major threats for both Eddie and Venom. And one last thing I forgot to bring up. What does carry these Venom movies is the dynamic between Eddie and Venom. As I've already said it in my double re-review for Venom 1 and 2, the best part about this movie was just the chemistry between Eddie and Venom. As Tom Hardy does a pretty good job portraying two different characters who are himself, if you know what I mean. Oh, one last thing I forgot to bring up, and it's sadly a negative I have, a nitpick for this movie. Venom isn't in his full form throughout the entire movie, and you could say that it was to save the budget for the other symbiotes, but they have a reason for why he can't be in his full form, but I was like, you kidding me? That's dumb. And why can he not be in his full form in this movie? Oh, if he's in his full form, the xenophages are going to immediately come after them as they're able to see the codex on, the back of their spine. And yeah, the xenophages proved to be very threatening villains as they are super dang fast because, Eddie and Venom were hanging on an airplane already in the U.S., and that xenophage was in Mexico and hauled ass immediately onto the airplane. Well, with that being said, that should be my pros and cons for Venom: The Last Dance. If you were to tell me which is my personal favorite movie in the series, it'd probably have to be Venom 2. Mainly because of Carnage being in the movie. But I do overall enjoy all three movies. And yeah, I could say that the third one's the best in the trilogy. And yeah, I just can't believe these movies have now come to an end. And I'm now gonna be depressed for the next few months. Time to think about it. That ending, oh my god. Damn you, Sony! But with that being said, those are just my thoughts on Venom: The Last Dance. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Be sure to leave me your thoughts, comments down below. Sorry if this was slightly rushed, but I just had to get this video out around October. It just had to be uploaded in October. I will be disappointed if I end up having this out on November. Basically repeating what I did last October, where I tried having my FNAF movie vlog out on Halloween, but sadly it was posted on November 1st. So I would not like to repeat that again. Wow, I really had to jinx myself, didn't I? Hi, future me editing this. I was editing that before heading to my friend's place for Halloween. I got to 5 minutes in. I mean, the video was 29 minutes long. I trimmed it down to 25. I was 5-6 minutes into the thing and just... Yeah, I'm a little disappointed I did not have this released in October, but... Oh well, at least I got the review out. But, like I said, hope you all enjoyed my movie review for Venom: The Last Dance that is now playing in theaters. Be sure to let me know your thoughts, comments down below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next movie review. Peace out.